Welcome to a Leader's Journey podcast. I'm your host, Joel Gunn. Welcome to a Leader's Journey podcast. I'm your host, Joel Gunn. Sergio's back with me for part two. The first episode, we got into two of the biggest lies in branding, and we're going to pick up with number three now. Sergio, what's the third biggest lie in the world of branding?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Joel. Well, and I encounter this very frequently as well. Many founders, many leaders, they strongly believe that branding is marketing's job. And that's completely false. That's a leadership function. That's a complete leadership function. And again, many people are like, okay, yeah, my brand, yeah, it's for my designers, my content creators, for the agencies, for this, for the other. They delegate, right? But it's always a function of the CEO and the executive leadership, the key leaders. The key leaders set the tone. Whatever they tolerate, whatever you encourage and inspire others to do, that's your brand. If you have a beautiful, amazing, inspiring mission on the wall, but you're not living it, that is your brand, right? If you have these great values that you constantly break in order to make money or whatever, that is your brand. So brand is not what we say, it's what people experience about you, is the feeling. And yeah, so it's when I see key leaders heavily involved and I see the founder or I see the driver, the rainmaker of the company heavily involved in the branding processes, I can see a very strong brand taking place. Yeah, that's one of the things that I keep encountering is just whenever it's extreme delegations into the marketing, then it's not quite right.
Yeah, I had the privilege of you helping a nonprofit that I'm part of, and it was critical that we had the founder in the room wrestling through the whole idea of what is the brand, what's the message we're trying to convey, the story we're trying to share, and it would not have been the same if that senior leader was not participating in the process.
Yes,
and
exactly
so
right.
I saw firsthand how important that was.
Exactly right. And and if you think about it carefully, right? I've seen this. I've seen where companies have very inspiring messages, right? They have everything right. And then the key leader, the steward of the company is disengaged, is disconnected.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So that is a very confusing message for the people working in the organization, right? Because they're like, this is very inspiring. I am on board with this, whatever, right? These messages that were created by marketing teams or rally the markets or whatever, right? But I see the founder and the key leaders, and they don't care. They don't leave this, so that disconnection, that creates a lot of confusion. So that's why it's way better when the leaders take full ownership, they embrace it, they develop from authenticity, okay? And then they communicate, and then there's all this alignment with the company, and then the magic happens.
So have you ever had to walk away from an opportunity because the senior leadership wouldn't engage? They tried to just delegate it to the marketing team?
Yeah, a couple of times. It's a bit painful. It's a bit painful for me because suddenly you're excited, and sometimes there could be big projects. I'm not saying small projects, but yeah, sometimes it's like, oh yeah, you know what? Yeah. Just call my secretary and just talk to her, and then do this. Oh, pick up the check. Here, this, and I'm like, man, this sounds like problems. This is gonna be trouble all over the place. And then you start like, you know what? You pray about it, and very painfully, but you decline. And they're like, why? Why are you declining? You're like, well, and sure enough, like a year later or whatever, then you hear like something really bad happen or something, right? That's like, oh,
Hmm.
thank you. I was not involved in that. Right. So yeah, just
Well, you've done helped 2,000 brands over the decades. So now you're to a point where you're protecting your brand of who you engage with, right? So,
yeah. And I can tell you crazy stories. Crazy stories. This happened to me in Mexico. One very important leader, he was building construction materials. And as we were exploring the whole case, I was like, "Are you sure you're gonna make money?" Because I was checking the plan, I was checking the business plan, all these things, and it didn't make sense. He recently had inherited money from their family, and then suddenly he said, "No, I think my secret weapon, it's the branding from you guys." I'm like, "Oh, okay, we have a problem." I'm like, "Yeah, but you need to have substance. You need to have, you know." And I'm like, "You know what? Here's your money, man. I cannot take this," and we just parted ways. But there's just so many stories like that on the opposite side, on the bright side, when the team is engaged, when the founder is engaged, and they take pride on what we're building, it's like a relation made in heaven, long-term
yeah.
relation, many projects, many success stories. So
Yeah, yeah, no, that's great. There's a line that you use. I want to transition, and I want to use this line to make that transition. You say faith isn't a category in your strategy; it's a compass. What does that mean?
well, I believe the best ideas, the strongest, clever authenticity, the creativity, the top creativity comes from the Lord, and comes from just tapping into that source of the supernatural, right? And when we don't, so for me, having this strongly belief in the master creator, it's just not an option. It's the compass. It's what guide the best decision making for not only our companies but our lives and the purpose and why we're here on earth, right? So yeah, for me it's extremely important. Again, many 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 years ago, used to, I was pretty worldly, and when we created something amazing, we're like, oh yeah, we did it, we are so good, blah blah blah. And when you start building that ego start to build up, and then it kind of taints it kind of tarnish the great creativity that only comes from God. So nowadays we just like, here, you know all the glory to you, and just being so free and so open and continue to abide in him. I think
Mm-hmm.
that has propelled us to be even more creative in and be more fruitful in the way we do it things. So yeah, that's the
Yeah, the I've often heard you speak, and you always share about the creativity comes from within, and if you tap into God, the creator, he has such a variety of creation. You just start looking at the various animals and the various plants, and there's variety almost beyond the imagination. You look at the platypus, for example. Yeah, it's just such a odd looking creature, and then we discover stuff at the bottom of the ocean where we thought nothing could live. And yet there's things, thousands and thousands of feet down in the darkest of dark. And everywhere we look, we are, thousands of years on the planet and of modern enlightenment. And we still look around and are constantly surprised as we find things that were, created long before us. So it's a fun thing. And to tap into that is one thing that you've definitely been gifted to do and chosen to do. And it's a gift that you share with so many so well. What are your final thoughts for somebody listening to the episode? They're a leader. Maybe they have a great brand. Maybe they don't. What's something they could, take away from this episode and start to maybe and move things in the right direction?
Yeah, I want to tell you, I will encourage you that if you're leading an organization, be more thankful, have more thankfulness in your heart. Now, when we're thankful for God giving us this company to steward or this group of people, right? That gratitude usually evolve into us taking action and jumping in and taking full accountability in how we tell the story, right? In our reputation, how to build a good name. And so if you are in full gratitude with God and you're thankful for it, then the second thing that will evolve is be joyful. So get full excitement into developing your name and telling good stories and being a master communicator, and how you're gonna evolve your brand to captivate the masses or your specific key audience, right? But again, I would leave you with this: just full gratitude first, grateful for God. That evolves into being excitement, full excitement into developing the name, the reputation of your brand, developing your people, developing your culture, but with excitement. So I'm telling you all this because what the world wants is they want to distract you. They want to have this little lawsuit, this problem with an employee, this man, so many things like this cyber attack. Oh no, we can do nothing because we're protecting. There's so many. It's all distractions. So we don't tell the good story. And what are the gospels? What's the gospel? The good news, the good story. So we have a small part of telling that good story to others with full excitement and with full joy to communicate. So seize the day, seize the opportunity. Yeah, create a vibrant culture.
Yeah, that's great. I think you're right. I hadn't thought about that before until you shared it just now. But when we're full of gratitude, we're looking at the world with a thankful heart and appreciate what we do have. It seems like that probably turns off the scarcity mentality and turns on the abundance mentality. And seems like we'd be more creative in abundance mentality than in scarcity mentality.
Correct.
Yeah. That's really good. Thanks for sharing that, Sergio. And again, thanks for being on the podcast. It's always great to have you on. Appreciate your time.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you, as always.
Have a blessed week.
You too. Blessed week. Bye-bye.
Thanks for joining us for this episode of A Leader's Journey podcast. If you enjoyed it, give us a thumbs up and remember to subscribe to our channel.